Hello YouTube. I'm going to play the Imperial campaign of Rome Total War as the Senate faction. I have looked on YouTube before and I could not find any Senate campaign that was just the vanilla Rome, the normal unmodded, not Roman unified campaign. So I'm going to go ahead and do this campaign on very hard, very hard. I've played this campaign several times, and that campaign is extremely difficult just because the other Roman factions attack you very, very quickly, and Rome becomes extremely broke at the beginning. I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys some tips and tricks and how I learned how to beat the campaign. It took me quite a while to figure out a way to beat the campaign just because I always tried to stay on the Italian peninsula, which you cannot, or from my experience, have not been able to successfully defend Rome, just because Rome goes extremely broke in the beginning of the game. As you can see here, you start off losing a ton of money. This is just because your army is so big and your economy is so weak. I'm hopefully going to try and turn that around. The way that I've seen out how to do it is you hurry up, you build a port in the city, and then you send your men to Carthage, which is right here. I first came up with the idea because I had read a fellow player's description of how to successfully beat the campaigns, and one is drastic relocation. To relocate from such a hostile area of being in the middle of 3 enemies to a less hostile, more prosperous area. Rome starts off as the most developed, or I've heard some people say that Carthage was the most developed, but I'm pretty sure Rome is city in the game. This does not make it defendable. Like I said, the Julia and the Scrupii will attack you very, very soon. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is disband a couple of my hostile units. And games past, I went ahead and disbanded my Triarii and units of my Valete. This was a major mistake, just because the Carthage have elephants. Your Valetes get a bonus fighting elephants and chariots, which made it a little bit more difficult to fight elephants. I'm going to go ahead and end turn. But I've tried as many ways as I can think of to try and survive. I've taken the Julia capital, I've taken the Scrupii capital. None of these techniques seem to work on very hard, like they would on other difficulties. In my experience, the other Roman factions take about 5 turns to attack Rome. This is not enough time for you to rebuild your economy. Since they are so close, they can continuously siege your cities. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my diplomat on the island here and go through and try and get trade rights with as many factions along the water as I can. Because as soon as I build a port, I'm going to go ahead and hire some ships and take it over to Carthage. From time to time, you can get mercenaries along the water to get a boat, but this doesn't always happen, and it's not happening in this one. You will also notice that I do burn a lot of turns in the beginning and throughout little bits of this campaign. This is just because I am trying to build up my either my military, my economy, and you can't really do a whole lot during these periods. One thing with the Senate faction is no matter how high you raise your taxes and how low the public order is, they will not revolt. This is great for, you can see I'm still losing money, but it's not as much. This is great for when you take new cities, like barbarian cities, under the Roman culture. They don't like it too much, and they will, a lot of times they revolt in the normal game. Your cities will not revolt. And also, the rebel factions are neutral to you. So the game creators did this just so the Senate faction won't go out and start attacking the rebel cities. I understand. Now, the one thing you have to look out for is you want to see if you can build 2 boats. This is because you will get attacked on your way to Carthage. Right now, I can almost guarantee that this boat, this Julii boat, will siege my port. This is what's happened a couple times in my other games. It's just the way it is. You also want to take your units out of the city and reunite them with another force. This is what's going to take Carthage for me. You do want to keep in mind that once they start the Civil War, you'll get attacked almost instantly. There is a family member that comes in. He is this guy right here. He's 14 years old. In 2 years he'll become of age, and I have defended Rome against, I want to say it was about 8 or 9 hostile units with just my faction leader and a 24-man family member. It is extremely, extremely, extremely important to have enough of an army back here to defend Rome, because the trip unattacked from here to Carthage can take anywhere from 3 to 4 turns depending on if you get attacked or not. So it is vital that you keep enough forces back here to defend your city. And right now I'm pretty confident that just this will defend my city. As you can see right now, this group guy do not have much of a force here, but I'm pretty sure they'll be putting them on the boat right here. Another thing to look out for is any boats around your area. This will happen later in the game. I'll go ahead and show you guys. I'll just go ahead and describe it right now. They will send boats because you are at Carthage and they are at war with you, even if after they take Rome. They're going to offer me to become their protectorate. Okay. Well, they've offered to become my protectorate. If Rome is weak, poopy. All right. My faction leader died right there, which means I just have a hostile unit back there, or hostati. I don't know however you guys want to say it. I've had him. That's kind of sad. I've had him live to 70 years old before. I don't know if he was assassinated, or I don't think so. I don't think they have assassins this early. Died peacefully, yeah. So, that sucks. Anyways, what can you do? One hostile unit will not defend my city. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my faction leader back in there, and put these guys on a boat and send them over. I know Carthage is right here. Thing is, there are rebel units, there are rebel ships, there's the Carthage Navy. There's all of this to take into account while you're going over there. Not to mention, you still have to defend the city. And even when you do get Carthage, you'll still be broke for a while because you need at least 2 cities to maintain the army that you have if you don't want to disband units like crazy, which I suggest highly against it. So you can see right now, I almost guarantee that this force will come over, just because who else do they have to attack, and their boats are still back here. So that's just what I think they'll do. I've had some pretty heavy resistance before coming into Carthage. It's just how it is. The Carthage units over here does not look like they have very much. Usually their navy won't attack you right away, but I've got more boats than they do right now unless they bring this guy back over, which they could. But I've got more men than them right now. I'm not too concerned about taking the actual city as I am defending my own. Yeah, see, the Julii just blockaded my port, which means they're going to start the war. The Civil War. All the other Roman factions will join in. As you can see right here. Julii start civil war. Betrayed by the House of Julii. Transgression, the House of Julii. Scrupia. Oh no, it seems like the rest of the Roman factions are taking my side. And see, like I said, that guy became of age. This just means I've got an extra guy in here, which I feel more confident defending. But you can't hold Rome. I've tried it several times. I have never been able to hold Rome. I'm going to go ahead and siege this. Because I have the Roman military, usually I will go up on their walls because hand to hand my men can beat their town militia and their Iberian infantry. I like knocking down their walls anyways, just because I don't have to repair them later, but yeah, that's just kind of a side note. This unit will more than likely come for me. I know I said that before, but we'll see how it goes. Yep. Now, this is why I'm just waiting for all this to end real quick so I can think. I do not think I can defend Rome. I will probably play the fight off camera just because I gotta try it. And as you see, the other factions did join in the Civil War. Scrupia and the Brutii. Even though they did not have any hostile actions and they betrayed their alliance with the Julii, it's just how the game is. The game will automatically end your alliance and start the Civil War. It just happens that way. Diplomatic. Yeah. They break their alliances with each other. I don't know, they reallied. Okay. Brutii broke their alliance, and the Julii declared their alliance with the Scrupii. And I found out, I'm going to go ahead and assault the city. I have found out that no matter how hard you try on very hard campaign, you could have them within inches of their defeat, and they will not have a ceasefire with you. It's just how it is. One thing, I always save the game before the fights. Just because if something drastically, horribly goes wrong, I can just reload it. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And I have had things go drastically wrong with fights. I've had family members get killed by chariots randomly. I've had just some really freak accidents. My general dying to oil spills, stuff like that from the gates. It's just preventative, so if you screw up or if you lose a fight, something like a pivotal fight, you can go back and do it. I know it's cheap, whatever you have to do. I'm going to keep my Triarii from actually taking these up. First things first, I'm going to use the staff point. I like the staff points just because you take down their walls and they can't really do a whole lot about it. Let's take these. Ladders are always really good because they do not catch on fire. It's always a plus, right? They cannot be burned like rams or towers. Thing is, your guys do take a lot of damage for it. That's why you always got to pick a point that's away from the towers. And I forgot to turn battle time when I'm off, but it's alright. I'm warning you guys right now, I broke my finger in a couple places on my right hand, so I may pause the video just because I cannot move my hand as well as I would like to. Sorry guys, think I'm a wuss, whatever. I do things my way, it's my video. If you guys want to go ahead and leave comments, if you want have any questions about anything, you want to see something differently, something along those lines, leave me a comment, a message. I'll get back to you and answer you as quickly as possible. Also, if you have any suggestions, I'd like to hear it. I'll go ahead and put them in my videos, even if I have to restart one. This is for you guys, and you know, your feedback is always welcome. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward since there's really not a whole lot to see through here. And after this fight will be the end of my first video. I will try and post at least 3 videos at a time, just because it makes it easier, so that you guys aren't like cliffhangers. What I'm going to do with this Estada unit, as soon as they get up, I'm going to go ahead and capture this tower, and then I'm going to wait, because even if I do capture this tower, well, which would take me quite a while because I have to kill all of these guys before they'll let me capture this tower, which will cost a lot of unnecessary casualties. As soon as I break down the wall and capture the gate, they will come down and I can fight them on my terms, which I always like. Capture the walls, and my stat point's almost there. The one disadvantage with the Senate faction is they start out with just your family members as cavalry, and no spy, very little money, weak economy in one city. So if you can get past all of that, I mean, it's not too bad. I would have to say that the Senate faction's the second hardest campaign to beat. The Seleucid Empire is definitely the hardest, just because if you think being surrounded by 3 enemies is hard, try being surrounded by 4 or 5. The Egyptians, the Pontos, the Armenian, the Parthia, all of those factions are hostile towards you in the very early of the game. But you do start off in more cities. I have beaten that campaign, just not on very hard, very hard. I've seen some videos of people beating it on very hard campaign, and I am extremely impressed by that because I have never been able to beat it on that difficulty. They have the cavalry just lining up right there to block the hole. Really not too concerned. They do not have elephants in the city either, which when I've sieged the city before, they had their elephants in here. Not a lot of fun, let me tell you. I'm going to keep my Triarii out of it for the beginning part, just use my very heavy infantry for it, and I'll keep my missiles back too. I'll probably bring them in later, but until then, I've got 3 Triarii? Yeah, okay. And I'm kind of just waiting for this unit to catch up to them. Since they are just round shield, they're not missile cavalry, I don't mind just kind of running straight into them and not worrying about their missile cav. The missile cav this is the general's bodyguards. They have 2 general bodyguard here, which the general bodyguard units are, especially with faction leaders, are, if not the strongest, in the top couple strongest units in the game. Especially if they charge you, it turns out to be a very bad day. It's just not a good situation. So I'll use my Triarii for them, but use my Principe and my hostile unit to kind of like absorb the charge of them. Alright guys, you're getting shot at, so I'm going to go ahead and make you run. They are getting shot by these towers. I could have avoided this by killing these guys and capturing it, but like I said earlier, it would result in a lot of unnecessary casualties. I can just go over and run to this gate right here once I get in and kill these guys, and there won't be as many casualties. I'm letting my Principe throw at them first. It will do a lot of damage. And I only killed about 6 of them, and it does make them run from the door, which is always a plus. Whenever you siege barbarian cities or something like the wood wall cities. It's a really good idea to turn your Principe and hostiles on fire at will. That's just for all the campaigns. This will cause the units to run from the actual defensive position on the walls, and make it a little bit easier so they don't surround you as you try to get in. This will only take a second. As you see, they're round right now. I'll keep them engaged, but I will not let them run after them. This way, if you move your units while they're trying to kill something, it's kind of hard to run and swing a sword in this game. They don't really understand the concept, so they will not actually attack. So just keep them engaged. Don't worry about it. They will. And it does not see it. It seems like these units are keeping them from capturing it. So I'm going to actually send my more depleted unit after these units here. Try and throw them up on the wall at first and see what that does. If that doesn't work, I'll bring this unit over to attack these guys and try to smush them. I usually try to avoid the combat on the walls as much as possible, just because the units will not rout. You have to kill every single one of them, which can take a long time, not to mention kill a lot of your units. So let's just see. Yeah, I captured the gateway. Alright. So by capturing the gateway, I can kind of just forget about these guys and move my guys in. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my Triarii in. Place them right here. Yeah, and they're actually starting to engage, so that's why I'm going to run these guys over. Town Militia versus Principe is a no-brainer. My Principes will win. I just have to try and keep them as well rested as possible, because as soon as you guys become exhausted, they'll start dropping like flies. Not really the best. So winded, warmed up, and fresh are the best way to fight your guys. If they get any more tired than that, they kind of become useless. What I can also do is I can sit my Principes right here and turn fire at will on. This will cause them to throw on these units. I'm actually going to keep them running now. As you see, they're actually turning their Iberian infantry to meet me, which is alright. If you do not want to concern yourself with how tired your units are or anything like that, you can turn arcade battle mode style on. This will keep your units from becoming tired. It also is a cheaper way to fight, and it's considered more action oriented, but it's kind of cheap. And I will move these 3 units into the battles. I don't really have an overwhelming, like, this is how you fight fights and you'll win automatically kind of tip or trick. It's usually just the situation and trying to react accordingly to your situations. As you can see, they kind of held up in the town center now. This is where I really like the Roman factions, because all of their standard units have Pila, which I know means some pretty interesting things in Italian, but Pila, Pilum, however you want to say it, I really don't think there's a wrong way to do anything in this game. I take that back, but there's really, if you try, there's really not a wrong way to do anything. And also, the reason you save the game before you start the fights is so that you don't lose. If you screw up, you can go ahead and refight the battle. Understanding your mistake and fixing it so it doesn't happen again. Seems like my hostility are losing, which I'll just bring these Principe units over and they will be destroyed pretty quickly. I will send all my units one way down the city streets here. I know they have missile cav, not a good idea, and the general's bodyguard, you know, blah blah blah. I will have my Triarii to kill the cavalry. I'm not too concerned about it. Also, I'm going to take my throwing units off fire at will and skirmish. This is just because they'll be towards the back of the fight anyways. I don't have to worry about them running. I'm going to have them throw. You can always disengage and re-engage your units by just clicking again. I know this causes a couple of my guys to die, but their peel and throw will kill usually about 5 of their men each time. And as you can see right here, they're fighting to the death. They have to, technically, because I've blocked off all the exits. But usually the last guy jumps off the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and watch just to see, because it kind of makes me giggle. And they killed him at the same time. And usually the bannerman is usually the last guy. It's just how the game happens. Unless they get charged on that side, the bannerman will be the last, and the centurion will be the last. Usually when they are fighting for death, usually the units will not kill as many of yours. I'm not saying that they won't kill any, just they won't kill as many. Not like they were earlier. Now that this is cleared, I'm going to go ahead and bring my general in. And my brother actually taught me this trick. You go over and you right-click, hold shift, and right-click, and it'll set waypoints for your unit. I'm actually going to put them just right there for now. And because I had not captured any of these other towers, I don't really want to bring my general's bodyguard around there in case he gets shot. Kind of trying to keep as many of my guys alive as possible. Alright. Now what I wanted. I want to keep as many of my Triarii alive too, just because they're a huge help when you fight elephants. So actually I'll keep one unit back just because you will fight elephants. They will eventually bring them after you. Not the most fun experience, especially when they're defending a city. They tend to run over your guys and you guys don't know what to do. But that's why the missile units right here and the Triarii will be your best friend against elephants. Never try to attack elephants with other cavalry, because the elephants mostly throw your units. If you have your infantry, at least they'll be able to get back up. Cavalry, they don't get back up. That's kind of what happens with the chariots. If you ever use a cavalry unit to charge a chariot, it usually ends up killing a bunch of your horses. I've had my general's unit die before because I was not aware that it would happen. They are starting to move the mercenary cavalry after me. As soon as you come within a couple inches on the screen of the town center, they will rush you. So make sure you have as many of your units as close as possible to the fighting, so that you won't get one unit to randomly rout extremely quickly. As you can see, they're throwing. Try and spread them out. Because they are so tightly packed already, it won't really do a whole lot. I'm actually going to turn these guys fire at will on, but they're charging. So I'm just going to go ahead and charge these units too. Because they are still on skirmish, they'll run, but they don't. Okay. And they brought the rest of their general's bodyguard in. And so I'm going to go ahead and just take my guys off and pushing all together. This will only cause my guys to get pushed into the cavalry more. And and attack a general's bodyguard. Usually, if you don't let them attack at all, they'll just attack the closest target, which in this case really isn't that bad. I use my throwers to attack them and get my general's bodyguard up here to inspire my troops. Because if you get one unit to rout, it's kind of a pretty devastating towards your units. Rally them. And as you can see, because I had picked to take one direction, I'm suffering pretty heavy casualties. And that is their faction leader dying. This will cause all of them to run. Once you get to this point in the fight, it's usually over. You just gotta mop up the rest of the guys. And the last of the family members had died in this fight too. So what I'm going to do is take my general, charge him in, now that I have the cavalry advantage in the fight, and I'm going to actually run these guys into their town square. And just hammer and anvil them. And massive carnage. This fight's over. They win. It wasn't pretty, but got the job done. I know I'm missing quite a bit of unit meds from the units. I'll show you a trick how to quickly retrain them, so to say. Alright, this is where I'm going to end my first video. Thanks y'all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.